Imagine for a moment that you are walking through a dense forest at twilight. The path is not clear, the shadows are long, and yet you do not need a flashlight because you realize quite suddenly that the light is coming from you. This is not a metaphor for your intellect or your personality, but a literal description of the spiritual reality that the great American mystic Edgar Cayce spoke about for decades. We often go through our lives feeling like we are merely observers, reacting to the world around us, paying our bills, raising our families, and trying to be good people. But Cayce, in his profound trance states, revealed that we are actually broadcasting a signal every second of every day. He called this the aura, a vibratory record of the soul's journey, written in light and color that most eyes have forgotten how to see. But just because the world is blind to it does not mean it is not there, and it certainly does not mean it is not affecting your life in ways that science is only just beginning to understand. You might have clicked on this video because you feel different, or perhaps you have always felt a little out of step with the rhythm of modern society, and you are looking for answers that religion or psychology haven't fully provided. Today, we're going to look at the 5 specific signs that your aura is not just active, but that it is expanding and awakening to a higher purpose based on the readings of the sleeping prophet. The first sign that your spirit is waking up is what we might call the phenomenon of the living barometer. You have likely experienced this since you were a very small child, though you probably learned to hide it to protect yourself. It happens when you walk into a room where an argument has just ended. The people might be smiling, they might be sitting quietly, and to anyone else, the room looks peaceful. But you, the moment you cross the threshold, you feel a physical weight press against your chest. You feel the static electricity of anger still hanging in the air like smoke. Edgar Cayce taught that our thoughts are things, that they have substance and form in the mental world. And for someone with an awakening aura, these thought forms are as tangible as furniture. You are not imagining it when you suddenly feel sad for no reason while standing in line at the grocery store, or when you feel a sudden surge of anxiety when a specific person walks into your office. Your energy field is interacting with theirs. This is not a weakness, though it often feels like a curse, because it can be so exhausting. It is actually a sign that your spiritual insulation is thinning, allowing you to feel the oneness of humanity. You are becoming a sensitive instrument, capable of detecting truth from falsehood without a single word being spoken. This sensitivity is the first step toward what Cayce called the creative force, the ability to eventually heal the atmosphere rather than just suffering from it. Now, this leads us directly into the second profound sign, which often confuses people who are just beginning to understand their spiritual path. This is the experience of being the unspoken confessor. You might be a very private person. You might even consider yourself an introvert who prefers to stay home with a good book rather than go out to parties. And yet, when you are out in the world, strange things happen. Complete strangers feel an irresistible urge to tell you their life stories. You might be sitting on a park bench or waiting for a bus, and someone will sit next to you, and within 5 minutes, they are telling you about their divorce, their childhood trauma, or their deepest fears. They often stop themselves and say, "I don't know why I'm telling you this. I have never told anyone this before. This is not a coincidence, and it is not just because you are a good listener. It is a reaction to the vibration of your aura." When an individual is spiritually awakening, their energy field begins to vibrate at a frequency of acceptance and non-judgment. It mimics the energy of the higher realms, or what Cayce would refer to as the Christ consciousness. The souls of other people, even if their conscious minds do not understand it, recognize your light as a safe harbor in a stormy ocean. They are drawn to you because your aura unconsciously signals that you are a vessel of compassion. While this can be overwhelming, and we will talk about how to manage that later, it is a clear confirmation that your spirit is operating on a level of service that goes far beyond your day job or your daily responsibilities. You are acting as a spiritual anchor for those who are drifting, providing them a momentary space of grace where they can unburden their souls. This brings us to a deeper layer of the awakening process, one that deals with the nature of time and memory. Edgar Cayce was famous for accessing the Akashic records, the book of life, where every thought and deed is recorded. The third sign that your aura is expanding is that you begin to have what we call bleeding through of intuition. This is different from just having a hunch. This is a sudden, absolute knowing that defies logic. It is thinking of a friend you haven't seen in 10 years, and then the phone rings and it is them. It is having a dream that is so vivid, so real, that when you wake up, this reality feels like the dream, and days later, the events of that dream play out in your physical life. Cayce taught that time is an illusion of the material plane. As your vibration raises, you step out of the linear timeline and dip your toes into the eternal now. Your aura is stretching beyond the physical body and touching the fabric of the universal mind. You might find that you can learn things with incredible speed, or that you hear a spiritual truth and you don't feel like you are learning it, but rather that you are remembering it. This is a sign that the veil between your conscious mind and your soul's history is becoming transparent. You are not just a body having a spiritual experience. You are an infinite being beginning to remember your vast history. This intuition is your GPS for the current life, guiding you away from danger and toward the people and places that are part of your destiny. It is a tool that has been given to you because you have work to do, and you need to be in the right place at the right time to do it. As we continue to explore the landscape of your spiritual awakening, we must address a phenomenon that is often painful and misunderstood. Yet it is one of the most reliable indicators that your vibration is shifting. This is the fourth sign, which we can call the mirror effect. When your aura becomes bright, when you start to live with more authenticity and spiritual purpose, you naturally expect that your life will become easier and that everyone will love you. But Edgar Cayce warned that light often irritates those who have become comfortable in the darkness. You may notice that as you grow spiritually, some long-term relationships begin to crumble. People you have known for years might suddenly become hostile, critical, or distant without any logical reason. You haven't done anything to hurt them. In fact, you are likely being kinder and more patient than ever before. The reason lies in the physics of spirituality. Your aura is acting like a high-definition mirror. When people with unresolved guilt, hidden agendas, or deep-seated fears come into your presence, your light shines into their dark corners. They see things in themselves that they do not want to see, but because the ego protects itself, they project that discomfort onto you. They might say you have changed, that you are too much, or that you are being self-righteous, when in reality, they are simply reacting to the contrast between your frequency and theirs. This creates a period of intense loneliness for many awakened souls. You might look around and feel like you don't fit in with your old crowd anymore. The conversations about gossip about material possessions, about complaining, they all feel empty and draining to you. You might feel a desperate need for solitude, for long walks in nature, or for silence. Cayce spoke often of the need for attunement, just as a radio needs to be tuned to catch a clear signal. Your nervous system, which is being upgraded by this new influx of energy, needs downtime to integrate. This is not depression, though it can mimic it. It is a spiritual hibernation. Your aura is shedding its old skin, the layers of societal conditioning and past life karma that you no longer need. This shedding process requires energy, which is why you might feel tired even after a full night of sleep. It is a soul-deep weariness that demands you rest, not just your body, but your mind. You are processing not only your own emotions, but often the emotions of the collective human consciousness. This is the burden of the light bearer. You are helping to filter the atmosphere of the planet, transmuting fear into faith within your own heart, and that is heavy lifting. But within this struggle lies the seed of your greatest power. As you navigate the mirror effect and the need for solitude, you begin to develop a relationship with the divine that is personal and unshakable. You stop looking for validation from the outside world because you realize the world cannot give you what you already possess. This leads to a refinement of your desires. This is a subtle but powerful aspect of the aura's awakening. You start to lose interest in the things that used to drive you. Ambition for the sake of status, the need to be right, the accumulation of stuff. Instead, you find yourself moved by beauty, by simple acts of kindness, by the truth. You might find yourself crying at the beauty of a sunset, or feeling a surge of love for a stray dog. Your heart chakra, the center of your energetic body, is cracking open. Cayce emphasized that the ideal must be set in him, meaning the creative force of love. When your aura aligns with this ideal, your life becomes a living prayer. You are no longer trying to force doors open. You are learning to allow the river of life to carry you. And here is where the magic really begins to happen. When you stop fighting the old reality and accept your new frequency, you start to attract a new tribe. It might happen slowly at first. You meet one person who gets it, then another. These connections are electric. They feel like reunions rather than new introductions. You realize that you are part of a vast network of souls who have all agreed to be here at this specific time in history. You are not the odd one out. You are a pioneer of a new way of being. The difficulties you face with your family or your old friends are simply the friction of growth. They are the growing pains of a soul that is becoming too large for the small box society tried to put it in. Your aura is expanding to encompass a reality where love is the law and patience is the test. Hey there, friend. I just want to pause for a second right here, just between us. I know that sometimes reading or listening to things like this can make you feel a lot of emotions all at once. Maybe you've been nodding your head. Maybe you've had tears in your eyes because finally someone is describing exactly what you've been going through alone in your bedroom at night. If you're feeling that warmth in your chest, that sense of finally, I am home, I would be so honored if you would join our little family here. Just hit that subscribe button, not because you need more noise in your life, but because we all need a place where we don't have to explain ourselves. And do me a favor, drop a comment below just saying, I am listening or I am here. It helps me know you're on the other side of this screen, and it helps other people realize they aren't the only ones feeling this shift. Let's walk this path together. The fifth, and perhaps the most significant sign that your aura is fully awakening, according to the principles of Edgar Cayce, is the development of universal empathy, or what we might call the realization of oneness. This goes beyond just being a nice person. This is a profound, cellular shift in how you view existence. You stop seeing yourself as a separate entity fighting for survival against the world, and you start to see yourself as a cell in the body of God. When you see news of a tragedy on the other side of the world, you don't just feel pity. You feel a connection. When you see someone who is angry or hateful, instead of reacting with more hate, you feel a deep sorrow for their pain, understanding that their anger is just a call for love that has been distorted. Cayce taught that spirit is the life, mind is the builder, and the physical is the result. As your aura awakens, you begin to live this truth. You understand that everything physical begins in the spirit. You start to take responsibility for your own energy in a way you never did before. You realize that your anger pollutes the world just as much as a factory smokestack, and your love cleanses the world just like a fresh rain. This realization changes your mission. You stop asking, "What can I get from life?" and you start asking, "How can I serve?" Now, service doesn't necessarily mean selling everything you own and moving to a monastery or feeding the homeless every single day, although those are noble things. Service, in the Cayce perspective, is an attitude. It is the smile you give to the tired cashier. It is the patience you show to your child when they are screaming. It is the prayer you whisper for the ambulance that passes you on the highway. Your aura becomes a broadcasting station of peace. You become a system buster, someone who enters a chaotic system, like a dysfunctional family or a toxic workplace, and changes the energy just by being there and refusing to lower your vibration to match the chaos. This is the hardest work you will ever do. It requires vigilance. It requires you to catch yourself when you fall back into judgment and gently guide yourself back to love. But this is why you're here. You're a worker in the vineyard of the Lord, as the readings often put it. We are living in a time that many spiritual traditions, including the readings of Cayce, pointed to as a time of great transition. The structure of the world is changing because the consciousness of the people is changing. You are a part of that change. Your awakened aura, if not a trophy to be displayed, it is a tool to be used. It is a lamp that is meant to be placed on a stand, not hidden under a bushing. When you accept this, the fear of being different evaporates. You realize that your sensitivity, your strange experiences, your intuition, they were all training. They were the gym in which your soul was building the muscles of compassion. You are not broken because you feel too much. You are functional in a dysfunctional world. You are the prototype of the future human, one who lives with one foot on the ground and one foot in the spiritual realms. So, how do you maintain this? How do you keep your aura bright in a world that can be so dark? Cayce gave us practical tools. He spoke of the importance of diet, of keeping the physical body alkaline and clean, so that it can conduct these higher energies. He spoke of meditation, not as a mental exercise, but as a time to listen to the divine. He spoke of dreams as the safe deposit box of the soul, where we receive guidance every night. But most of all, he spoke of application. Knowing these things means nothing if you do not live them. Your aura brightens, not by what you know, but by what you do with what you know. It is about patience. It is about forgiveness, forgiving yourself for your mistakes, and forgiving others for theirs. It is about persistence. Every time you choose love over fear, your aura flares with a color that is unseen by human eyes, but is celebrated by the angels. You are standing at a threshold. You can choose to go back to sleep, to numb yourself with distractions, and pretend that you don't feel the calling. Or you can step through the door. You can embrace your role as an awakened soul. It won't always be easy. There will be days when you want to give up, when the weight feels too heavy. In those moments, remember that you are never walking alone. The unseen forces, the guides, the master teachers, they are crowding around you, cheering you on. Your light is needed. It is essential. You are the hands and feet of the Spirit in this world. Trust your knowing. Trust your heart. Trust the process. And so, we come to the end of this message, but really, it's just the beginning of your work. I want to thank you, truly, for spending this time with me. Time is the most precious thing we have, and the fact that you chose to spend yours here means the world to me. If this video spoke to your heart, if it reminded you of who you really are, please take a moment to subscribe. We are building a community of light bearers here, and we need your unique spark. And I have a question for you. Which of these signs resonated with you the most? Do you feel the emotions of others? Do you have those vivid dreams? Please share your story in the comments below. Don't be shy. Your story might be the exact thing someone else needs to read today to feel less alone. Let's help each other wake up. Until next time, keep your light shining bright, and remember, you are loved more than you know. Peace be with you.